When you think about what keeps a massive airplane safely in the sky, what comes to mind? Huge engines, right? Sprawling wings? Well, today we're going to talk about something you can't see, an invisible system that might be the most important part of the whole operation.
So let me ask you, what do you think it is? The powerful engines? The super complex flight controls? I mean, those are all absolutely critical, for sure, but they're not the whole story. The real answer is probably not what you're thinking.
Believe it or not, it's the paperwork. The stacks and stacks of manuals, or, let's be real, the gigabytes of data that make up an aircraft's technical library. This massive collection of information governs every single thing that happens to an aircraft from the day it's built to its very last flight.
And this isn't just red tape for the sake of it. This paper trail is a super organized system, and it is the absolute bedrock of aviation safety.
So what are these things, really? Well, you can think of them as the official rule book for the aircraft, written by the people who built it. They cover absolutely everything, from simple routine checks to the most complex repairs you can imagine.
And this is not just a friendly suggestion. Regulations like this one make it a legal requirement. You can't just wing it or use your gut feeling. You must follow the book. And that's what ensures every single repair on every plane all around the world is done to the exact same certified standard.
Okay, so to really get how this all works in the real world, let's follow a problem from start to finish. It all kicks off with something called a snag, getting written down in the logbook.
So, let me introduce you to Alex. She's an aircraft maintenance engineer, or AME. Her day gets going when a plane lands and the flight crew jots down any little issues they notice during the flight. That issue is called a snag.
And they write that snag in the journey logbook. This thing is a huge deal. It's the one and only logbook that physically travels with the plane. It's the official handshake between the pilots and the maintenance crew, a living document of the plane's health.
And here's the snag Alex is dealing with today. Nose gear, taxi light, USS. Now, USS just means unserviceable, or, broken. Seems simple enough, just a burnt-out bulb, right? Well, not so fast.
Before Alex even thinks about opening her toolbox, she has to make a critical go/no-go decision. And you know what? It has absolutely nothing to do with actually fixing the light.
This is it. This is the first, and honestly, the most important question she has to answer. Is the aircraft still considered airworthy, even with this one broken light? The answer isn't in a repair manual. It's in a completely different book.
It's called the Minimum Equipment List, or the MEL. This document is just a perfect example of how much redundancy is built into modern airplanes. It tells you exactly which parts can be broken, and the plane can still fly perfectly safely.
Think about it like your car, right? If the radio breaks, you keep driving. But a blown tire, you have to stop. The MEL is the same idea. A broken coffee maker, the MEL says, no problem, you can still fly. But a critical system failure, that plane is grounded, period.
So Alex checks the MEL, and yep, she confirms the plane could legally take off with the broken taxi light. But the airline's policy is to fix it anyway. So now her job shifts from a legal question to a technical one. It's officially time to fix that light. All right, so this brings us to a huge challenge. With literally thousands, maybe millions of pages of documentation, how on earth does Alex find the exact procedure for one little bulb? She follows a very specific workflow. She'll use one manual to diagnose the problem, another to find the exact part number, and then a third one for the step-by-step instructions. But how does she find the right page in each one?
Navigating these monster manuals seems impossible, but there's a solution. An absolutely brilliant indexing system that's used across the entire aviation industry. It's called the ATA chapter system.
Seriously, just think of it as the Dewey Decimal System, but for a 747. It was developed way back in 1956, and it standardizes everything. So a Boeing manual is organized in the same basic way as an Airbus manual. It's genius, and it all comes down to a simple three-part code. For her taxi light issue, Alex is going to use a code that looks something like this, 324111. It might look like a random string of numbers, but it's actually a map that unlocks everything.
Let's break it down. The first two digits, 32, point to the major system. In the ATA universe, Chapter 32 is always landing gear. Doesn't matter if it's a Boeing, an Airbus, or anything else.
The next two digits, 41, narrow it down even more to the subsystem. So we're inside the landing gear chapter, and now we're looking specifically at wheels and brakes.
And the final 2 digits, 11, pinpoint the exact part she needs to work on, the wheel assembly, which is where that taxi light is. Boom! That one simple code lets Alex instantly find the right page in any manual she needs.
So Alex follows the procedure, she replaces the light, and she tests it. Job done, right? Not even close. The most important step is still to come. The work is never ever finished until the paperwork is finished.
Alex has to go back to that journey logbook and write down exactly what she did, reference the manual she used, and then finally sign it off with his very specific statement. This is called the maintenance release. It's her legal declaration that the aircraft is airworthy and safe to fly. That's a huge responsibility.
So, the next time you're sitting on a plane waiting for takeoff, remember Alex. Remember that your safety relies not just on the incredible engineering of the aircraft itself, but on the meticulous, invisible, and absolutely vital paper trail that follows it, everywhere it goes.